Audio and video is clear. This is my official Telegram channel, people. Any doubts or queries that you have, please send it over here. All right. So we have just found elite theory. And I told you the theory is inherent problem. That is when people make policies which only cater to the elite in the society. Elite, when we say, समझ लो elite वो लोग हैं जो जिनके पास पैसे ज्यादा हैं या पावर ज्यादा है या फिर दोनों है, इन्हें कहते हैं एलीट. तो मैंने इसके लिए एग्जांपल दिया था, like how corporate tax was reduced in our country, when I told you how the gun laws in USA are actually made in such a way that it caters to the gun manufacturing companies. वहां के जितने भी gun manufacturing companies है उनके लिए जो सहमत है, that is the law, those are the laws that are made there. Then I told you the classic case of Pakistan. Pakistan, even though it is a democracy, we know for a fact that it's a failed democracy. Democracy सिर्फ नाम के वास्ते है, whereas the policies there are actually made and meant only for the people who are in power. Clear? So this is the idea so far. And I also told you that we are in the fag end of our lecture series now. So that is what we will be winding up today. So, good morning, Sakshi. Good morning, Abhinav. Good morning, Satish. So, today we will be seeing, as part of public policy, the contingency theory. Contingency means at that some sort of an emergency is there. एकदम एक सिचुएशन आ गया है कि अभी के अभी हमें कुछ करना पड़ेगा. So, based on that particular situation या फिर उस situation के demand makes us frame a policy. Contingency approach is based on the view that there is no best way to manage and there are many effective ways to perform various management functions. Contingency theory emphasizes that the best way to lead, plan, organize and conduct managerial activities varies with the situation. कोई एक तरीका नहीं है. There is no one best method. It all comes down to what is the situation. उस situation में आप क्या कर सकते हैं. That is what it is. A particular method may yield fruitful results in one situation, but may drastically fail in other situations. There is no universal principles to be applied in all situations. Managers must analyze different situations and use the best approach which is best suitable in that particular situation. Situation को analyze करो. Based on what analysis you get, change your plan accordingly. Say for example, now you are sitting and preparing for UPSC. You made a plan today to do 2 subjects today. Okay. And what was the plan basically? The plan was basically that you were supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. Due to some reason, alarm or you were tired, you slept off, you woke up only by 7. Now, what happens with many of the students at this point is they get frustrated. Oh, मैंने देर से उठ लिया. And then what happens? That thing, they will keep it in their mind. I didn't wake up early. I didn't wake up early. Now, what happens? From 7 o'clock onwards, this thought is what is running in their head. Again, they will waste time. Again, they will feel guilty. It keeps on going like a loop. वक्त और भी बर्बाद कर रहे हैं. 1% or less than 1% of the people after waking up at 7 a.m. what they will do? 5 बजे से जो भी प्लान बनाया था वो शिफ्ट करेंगे. चलो 2 घंटे और सो लिया, अच्छा है, अब थोड़ा आराम मिल गया मुझे. 5 बजे से whatever planning I had thought of doing 5 to 7 I will do this. Let me do it from 7 to 9. I'll push everything a little. Normally I will keep 1 hour as lunch break. Now this time I'm only going to keep half an hour. Let me cover like that. Getting the point here. So what has happened? Improvisation. प्लान के मुताबिक चीजें नहीं चली, then what do? You improvise. Getting the point here. This is the idea. Good morning, Lipika. For example, to improve productivity, scientific management may prescribe work simplification and additional incentives. Behavioral scientists may recommend job enrichment and democratic participation of employees in the decision-making process. But the supporters of contingency approach may offer a solution which is responsive to the characteristics of the total situation being faced. Matlab, classical thinkers, if you go and ask them, what is the best decision? They will say, make a structure. If you go and ask human relation thinkers, what is the best? They will say, talk with your employees. If you ask people, NPA proponents, they will say, relevance, value, equity, change. This is the best. You go to NPM, they will say, nothing doing. Let the private players deal with everything. So each person will say one thing. What does contingency approach tell us? Work simplification would be ideal where there is limited resources, unskilled labor, limited training opportunities, and limited products offered to the local markets. काम को आसान बना दो. जब आपके पास पैसा नहीं है, आसान कैसे बनाओगे? टुकड़े टुकड़े करके. Make it small, so that even you don't have much resources with you, you don't have much time. So you divide the work and get things done. Job enrichment would be ideal for the organization where there are abundant skilled labor force. Skilled labor force zyada hai, wahan par job enrichment de do. Give them more challenges, give them more opportunities. Take the civil service, best example. उस civil service में ये job enrichment is generally enjoyed by IAS, IPS and IFS officers. उसके बाद उतना ज्यादा enrichment का scope नहीं है, to be very honest. The plethora of activities that you can indulge in, job wise, occupation wise, is more in these three services. The career growth, the job opportunities, the challenges that you get in these three services, that is unmatched with any other service in India. Yes, maybe the military will be the other next best option. This shows that managerial action depends upon circumstances within a given situation. In this approach, managers are supposed to diagnose a given situation and adapt to meet the conditions present. In short, contingency approach emphasizes on two aspects. It focuses attention on specific situational factors that influence the appropriateness of one managerial strategy over another. It highlights the importance of developing skills for managers in situational analysis. Such skills will help managers find out important contingency factors which influence their managing approach. Meaning is very simple here. Contingency approach का सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही मतलब है, analyze the situation. Situation normal है, routine है, then you will follow what? Basically, structural approach. Correct? Structure पर ध्यान दो. कब आ रहा है अटेंडेंस, कितना लीव, ऑल ऑफ दैट. किसको प्रमोशन मिलना चाहिए, किसको इंक्रीमेंट देना चाहिए, ऑल दैट विल फॉलो ओवर देयर. Situation is very dynamic. Totally new. Then you take feedback from your employees, you take feedback from environment, then you come out with a solution. सबसे आप ले लेंगे कि क्या करेंगे आगे, हम क्या करेंगे ऐसे अवॉइड करने के लिए. You will take up this thing and you will do it off. Best example for this is, again, It was the Kargil Review Committee that actually said that we need a chief for all the three services combined. सारे सर्विसेज के लिए एक चीफ शुड बी देयर एट द टॉप फॉर कोऑर्डिनेटिंग. Because Kargil war was not something which was normal war. No, it was again, it was a war with a different flavor to it, a different character to it. Why? Pakistan kept on telling that those are not our soldiers, those are Indian mujahideen. सीधा सीधा जंग होता तो we could have just fried Pakistan. But Pakistan kept on denying, no, these are not our soldiers. So India couldn't directly go for a war with Pakistan. But there were a lot of coordination issues. That is where the Kargil Review Committee came out with this decision. And then obviously we followed it up. Today we have a chief for all the three defense services put together. Kargil War Review Committee again came out with another suggestion that we need to have our own Dicey navigation system. The result was what? Navik. Navik will pretty much become operational maybe by next year. Within 1 or 2 years, we can expect Navik to go operational. We won't be using GPS anymore. That is bound to happen in a few years. Getting the point here. तो situation को analyze करने के बाद we will take a call. Whether we have to go for structure, whether we have to go for human relations school, NPM, NPS, all of this matter on what? What is the situation? Getting the point here? Basically, there is no one best method. Everything will depend upon the situation. Clear? Contingency approach has the following features. Management action is contingent on certain action outside the system or subsystem, as the case may be. Organizational action should be based on the behavior of action outside the system, so that organization should be integrated with the environment. Because of the specific organization environment relationship, no action can be universal. It varies from situation to situation. जो कुछ आप कर रहे हैं, whatever you're doing, it should be based on what? Whatever action is taking place in the environment. Whatever you're doing, it should be a reaction to the environment. Environment में कुछ हुआ, so you're making a change. 26/11 attack took place. NSG took more than 48 hours to reach Mumbai. Finally, what did we do? Okay, Mumbai should have its own Delta Force. अगर कोई टेररिस्ट अटैक आ गया वापस मुंबई में, कमांडोज लेट देम कम फ्रॉम एनीवेयर. कश्मीर से लाओ, आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट से लाओ, गुजरात से लाओ, कहीं से भी लाओ. फर्स्ट layer of defense will be provided by, or layer of offense will be provided by the Delta Force. So you can clearly see, Hamesha in a contingency approach, always what matters is outside your organization, ho kya raha hai. Based on that, you improve your policies. In other words, contingency approach always takes the feedback from the environment and frames their actions or policies according to that. Getting the idea here? Reasons for popularity. Any doubts so far, people? Good morning, Sudhanya. It provides a conceptual framework within which managers can systematically study the characteristics of the major organizational components as well as their interrelationship. It provides a conceptual framework. What conceptual framework here? क्या concept दे रहे हैं यहाँ पर? भाई, look at your environment. Accordingly, whatever feedback you're getting from there, based on that, you make changes. Simple सा concept है. Whatever is happening there, based on that, you make the change. It's not so difficult to understand, correct? Okay, something new is coming there, let us adopt it. As simple as that. Linkage between theory and practice. It is a practical way of studying and analyzing the organizations. It suggests a host of alternatives that might be applicable to a particular situation. It's a highly practical theory. Highly practical theory, because the reason being that it will only suggest what is demanded of the situation, what is workable in that situation. You're not going to make some theory, then डालो, try करो, test करो, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, क्योंकि oh, this is the demand now, let us do this. Oh, that is the demand now, let us do that. जैसे कि Employees Provident Fund Organization. Now, I don't know whether you have been reading the paper or not. EPFO has brought in a lot of changes now, whereby which online itself now you can manage your own EPFO account, your Provident Fund account. The employees themselves can manage it. Naam mein changes, date of birth mein changes, kuch bhi karna hai, they can do it. Earlier they had to file an application, ye wo letter likho. It was a very tedious process. Now it's been made very easy. ऊपर से अभी, from what I hear is now you can withdraw money also from EPFO very easily. That means the process has been made very easy to use for an employee. Like if I have an EPFO account, I can withdraw the money anytime I want. I can make changes to my profile and all that. All of this I can do very easily at home, sitting in front of my laptop. Clear? Means what? There is an absolute linkage here. So why that linkage is there between theory and practice? Because you're constantly taking feedback from the environment. Contingency theory ekdam environment se jude hue hain. It is so connected to the environment that it always responds to whatever is the demand from the environment. A basis for introducing changes. It explains the dynamic process of organizational change. It provides information about the relevant changes that occur in the environment from time to time. It also provides the necessary information to maintain the dynamic equilibrium. मतलब अभी again in Jharkhand, Mukti Morcha, I think some scheme was there. In that scheme, what they have found is more than 50 people have given the same bank account. More than 50 people have given the same bank account. Getting the point here? More than 1,000 or something, I believe. I'm not exactly sure of the number, but a very great number. More than 1,000 or something are what? Ghost beneficiaries. ये लोग नहीं है, कागज में है, असल में नहीं है. Getting the point? So what is happening now? The collector, everybody are sitting and doing a physical verification. And literally trying to physically verify कि कौन क्या है, कहां से है. Some of them are actually from, not even from that state. They are from West Bengal. दूसरे state से, not even from Jharkhand. So all these now they are sitting and cross-checking and verifying. तो क्या change? अभी change लाने का वक्त हो गया है. That means only whose Aadhaar is linked with bank account, only whose phone number is also linked with Aadhaar, bank account, etc. Only they should be allowed to enter. Correct? Only they should be made the beneficiary. कानून आएगा वापस. This is the point. You're constantly improvising. You're in a constant learning method. नया challenge आ गया, immediately you make a change. कुछ नया problem आ गया, immediately you make the next change. Clear? Wide applicability. Wherever there is a need to define or redefine the relationships in an organization, contingency theory may be useful. Wherever you want, you can use this. जहां पर आपको रिलेशनशिप रीडिफाइन करना है या फिर the working needs to be changed, wherever you can use this, because it all depends on what the situation. Wherever there is a need. So I have told you earlier also, Central Board of Direct Taxes and Central Board of Indirect Taxes. This is to do with GST, excise, customs. This is to do with corporate tax and income tax. अब ये दोनों कॉर्पोरेट कर रहा है किस मामले में? इन शेयरिंग डेटा. They're cross-checking their data now. Getting the point? This cross-checking has helped in what? This cross-checking has actually helped in finding the tax evaders. Getting the point here? New microphase. Contingency approach is called by Scott and Mitchell as the new microphase in management. The primary attention of contingency approach is on problem-solving puzzles. It has entirely pragmatic flavor. Contingency approach is considered as refreshing breeze in management literature, different from the humanistic and general systems fog. Samasya kya hai? Let us solve it. And because it's always oriented towards solving the problem, it's always practical. ऐसा कोई हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल नहीं, ब्यूरोक्रेसी को ही लाओ, उसको लाओ, इसको लाओ, एज पर दिस थियरी दैट थियरी. नो. अब इस सिचुएशन के लिए यू नीड अ बेटर स्ट्रक्चर, we'll take up classical theory. Oh, for this situation it is better if we privatize. Let us go for disinvestment, or let us go for public private partnership. Getting the point here? The main advantage of this contingency approach is that it compels us to be aware of the complexity in every situation and forces us to take an active and dynamic role in determining what best would work in each case. Like a system theory, it does not only examine the relationship between subsystems of a specific organization in a government, but also offers solutions to particular organizational problem. In spite of its towering appreciations, the contingency theory is fraught with a number of limitations the scientist cannot ignore. So, absolutely, that is correct. Centralized, centralized decision making, it started out first. Later, states started complaining. Why are you putting lockdown? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Finally, the center also understood. Whole blame will come to them. So what did they say? You people only decide how you want to manage the lockdown. You manage it like that. Now states also suddenly got, that is not we wanted, but they also got stuck. क्यों? क्योंकि अब जिम्मेदारी उन पर आएगा. Getting the point here, because that was the most decent thing to do. If let us say in Karnataka or in Kerala, you are having a huge burden of cases. Putting a lockdown there in the state of Kerala, we can understand. Neighboring state of Tamil Nadu hardly has any cases. There also, why do you need the same set of lockdown, hardcore lockdown guidelines? Getting the point here. So even though it can deal with many complexity, can give practical solutions, etc., there are still some criticisms associated with contingency theory. पहला ये है, it is very complex. Why is it so complex? Because it keeps changing. That is the reason. आज जो चीज काम करेगा जरूरी नहीं है वो कल भी काम करेगा, कल कोई और सिचुएशन में काम करेगा. Getting the point here. That is basically, let me tell you, even once you become a cop, you will be taught of the lot of investigative procedures, etc. Okay. But when you go to any case, any murder case comes to you, or any crime case comes to you, you should approach it with a fresh mind. It is very important. If you don't approach it, what will happen? You will start closing the case based on your experience. Just give a small example here. There was this web series also. I forgot its name, by the way. It was there in Amazon. based on the real life serial killer Cyanide Mohan. A teacher, basically, government teacher, married and having 2 children also. So what he used to do was he used to target women from lower caste who are unmarried. He will approach them and tell them basically that he is a government servant, etc. Now, unfortunately, in our country, even today, easiest way to get a marriage proposal today is just tell that you're a government servant. Marriage proposals will come flying in all directions, whatever be it. So, unmarried girl from a lower caste who is already past, let us say, 30 above, ya fir more than 25 years old, 25, 26 years old, whatever, they will also suddenly feel, oh wow, somebody has proposed to me, he is married, he is unmarried, he is having a nice government job, etc. They will get attracted to it. He will spend, he will date them, etc. And then he will say, in my home, they are not agreeing because it's a different caste, but I have decided I want to marry you. All that he will do. And then what he will do is, yeah, I think that is a one, Dahad. And then what he will do is, he will tell, let us elope and get married. So, and he will tell, you also bring all the jewelry, nice sari, everything you bring from your home. She will also agree. She will literally take her jewelry, her mother's jewelry, everything she will take, she will pack, she will go with this fellow. Now again, in our country, every nook and corner, if you go, you will find one or the other temple. I'm talking about the small ones. Maybe on top of a pahad or something, one small temple will be there. There they will go, tie knot, put a sindoor. Even today, unfortunately, Indian women fall for that crap. Immediately somebody puts sindoor, they feel, oh my God, he's my husband now. They fall for that crap. It's beyond me why they do that. The whole Pati Parmeshwar ka nonsense. Then that night, he will book a lodge somewhere. So always you must understand, they are doing this far away from her hometown. Very far away from her hometown, the girl's hometown. That night, they will take a lodge. They will have physical relationship. Next day morning, he will say, let us, what is it? We will go for our honeymoon and all that. So he will say, what is it? You don't keep all the jewelry with you. Do one thing, you give it to me. I will hold the jewelry. So all the jewelry goes into his bag. Then they approach the bus stand. Once they approach the bus stand, the next thing that he says is, last night we had unprotected sex. At this time itself, let us not risk a pregnancy. I will just give you a tablet. You go inside the bathroom and have it, because maybe sometimes it can give you vomiting sensation. But just have it. The female, yeah, okay, Pati Parameshwar has said it, right? So she will take the tablet, go inside the toilet, lock the door, put the tablet in. That tablet actually contains cyanide. In less than 10 seconds, she will die, vomiting violently inside. Cops will come. Because the door is locked, they get to know that, okay, somebody is inside, whatever. Cops will, passengers will call the cops. Cops will arrive. They'll break open the door. In police, it is generally a theory that agar the lock has been put from inside, suicide it is. And does anybody know her in that place? Nobody knows her. Missing case has been filed some 300 kilometers away by her parents. That these cops over here in this place won't be knowing. They will file it as unknown. Body will remain in the mortuary for a few more days, 1 week, 2 weeks. When nobody claims the body, hospital will put it into the crematorium, cremate it, done. So nobody is going to get to know that this fellow is going on doing it. Why? One standard procedure everywhere. Police were following. Okay, this lock has been put, person is dying. So suicide. So contingency approach means what? Contingency approach means for each situation you need to analyze. Like you need to find out first where this female has come from. How is it that she just walked in here and she just went and committed suicide? From where did she get this? Cyanide tablet is not something you go to the pharmacy and say, Bhaiya, 5 ka 10 de dena. No, it is not something which is easily available. Contingency approach will literally demand you to look at the case from all the angles possible. How did she die? From where did she get the poison? Nothing. So that is why it is becoming complex. Why complex means you should analyze each factor as per contingency theory. It is not easy. काम करना आसान नहीं होगा. Because every micro factor also becomes important here. Getting the point here? Paucity of contents. हर situation new होगा. Her situation will be new. So you will not have much content to refer to. अरे इसके पहले कोई ऐसा केस हुआ है क्या? Nothing. Nothing. This was a very rare case. Even the police were confused. How did this fellow even do it? And if you Google this fellow's name, Cyanide Mohan, it is not that he is having two horns, etc. He is also typically clean. यहाँ पर clean shave, एक भी one sprout of hair is not there. Mustache is well trimmed, well kept, neatly cut, neatly maintained hair. One look at it, you will never ever guess that this is a monster. This is one side. I'll give you another case similar to this. I think Cyanide Mallige is her name. I'm not sure exactly. What this female used to do was that she will be sitting in the temple. Very old female again. Very, very old. This fellow was quite young. Very old female this is. What she will do is she'll sit in temples. She will keep waiting and watching there. The moment she sees a female who is dressed neatly, has couple of jewelry, etc., which that is basically looking rich, she will approach them. And then she will say, looking at you, I feel you're going through a lot of problems. Obviously, whoever visits a temple or madrasa or mosque or church, they are not happy people. Why will they go to the mosque or temple regularly? Getting the point here. Whoever is visiting a place, religious place, 99.999%, they have a problem. That is why they are visiting there. And because she was old also, females used to fall for her. Then she will say, you know, there is a special puja. In that special puja, don't tell it to anybody. Otherwise, puja's effect will come down. So you come dressed in nice sari, wearing all your jewelry. You should come like a bride. You should come to impress the Devi. Female will believe. She'll call them to some random place in the night or somewhere. She will do some om kram, cream, kroom, whatever. At the end of it, she'll give them a laddu. Now eat this prasad. All your problems will go away. True, because that laddu contains cyanide. One bite, gone. Police were totally confused. Why? All the victims were dressed in nice clothes. Most of the victims were very good looking. There was no physical assault, no rape, no sexual intercourse whatsoever. Repeatedly when this started happening, because initially the idea was, okay, some guy is behind it. But repeatedly when even good-looking females were not assaulted, that is when cops started thinking the ulta way. What if we are looking in the wrong direction? What if it is a female who is committing all this? Then only they were able to arrest her. Or else if they would have gone in that single direction, serial killer means only a man will do this, they would have still kept searching in the dark. Again, a totally new case. ना इसके पहले ना इसके बाद ऐसा केस किसी ने सुना है. Getting the point here. So you don't have much content to refer to. Difficulty in empirical testing means you cannot put a data or a number to it. This is a different case. This is a different case. Her case, it is alag. So where are you going to test it? How are you going to test it? Each situation, when it is unique, you cannot say based on that you cannot come to a conclusion. This fellow was able to access cyanide from some friend of his who was in the jewelry business. She was able to access the cyanide because whatever jewelry she used to get, she used to go and sell it in a various jewelry shop. There she had a couple of contacts and they used to give her the cyanide. Now why cyanide is used in jewelry is basically to clean the gold. That is why cyanide is used. Getting the point here? This is the idea. Clear? And its reactive nature. Reactive nature means what? Situation के हिसाब से you will react to it. It is not that you can prepare and be ready. Okay, tomorrow when a serial killer starts, let us be ready for it. Nothing doing. We cannot be ready. Such killings, random killings where people are killing of innocent people, जिनके साथ कोई पहले what is it, issue or any dushmani, enmity, nothing is there. How are you going to stop it? Means you cannot take a, put a plan and be ready. Okay, let's wait. No. Here it is largely about reaction. After the hadsa has happened, only then you can react to it. That is the issue here. There is limitation to contingency theory because you have to wait for the signal from the environment. Any doubts so far, people? All right. Now let us come to our last topic, which is Dicey on administrative law. Before that, let us go into rule of law first. The concept of rule of law is of old origin. Edward Coke is said to be the originator of this concept when he said that the king must be under God and law. This was against the age-old belief that king can do no wrong and that king makes the law and therefore is above the law. In India, the concept can be traced to the Upanishads, which provide that law is the king of kings. It is more powerful than they as in kings. There is nothing higher than law. The fundamental principle of a democratic nation is that no one is above the law, which is also known as rule of law. What do you mean by rule of law? Kanun ka rule. Who is ruling? Kanun is ruling. Started from the guy called Edward Coke, which simply meant that even king is under the law. King को भी कानून के नीचे ही रहना पड़ेगा. This was a new thing. Because before that it was basically king can do no wrong. राजा कोई गलती नहीं कर सकते. King makes the law and therefore is above the law. King कानून के ऊपर थे पहले जमाने में. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? कानून के नीचे है राजा का रोल. Even Upanishads in our country tell that. And basically what is this rule of law? Everybody will have the same law. No special preference. Everybody will be protected by that law. Everybody will be protected by that law. Then one third principle is also there. We will discuss it. But these are the two main principles. Same law for everyone. Same protection also for everyone. Clear? Under rule of law, the law does not recognize the status of a person for both protecting rights and punishing violations. That means whoever you are, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, nothing doing, you will be given the same protection, the same punishment as per the law. Rule of law refers to a government subject to the law and a system in which law will prevail over the whims of government officials. Whims का मतलब है मनमानी, doing whatever you feel like. That is why you need a rule of law. But government officials also should act as per the law. The officers of the government are as equal before the law as any ordinary citizen. The term rule of law is derived from the French phrase la principe de l'égalité, the principle of legality, which refers to a government based on principles of law and not of men. गवर्नमेंट बेस्ड ऑन प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ लॉ एंड नॉट ऑफ men. मतलब क्या है? गवर्नमेंट जो है कानून से बनाया गया है, नॉट द men who are sitting there. That means everybody should act as per the law. चेहरा देखकर ओ ये मेरा रिश्तेदार है, इसको what is it, we will let them go. Not that way. That is very recently, what is it, Joe Biden pardoned his son just as he was about to leave the office, because Trump won the election. Trump was going to take over from January. So what did he do? Just before leaving office, he pardoned his son. His son was arrested on 2 charges. One, for having a weapon, an unregistered weapon with him. Number 2, drug charges. दोनों charges added together, he would have easily got 20 or 30 years in prison. It's a very serious offense in USA. Drug charges plus having an unregistered weapon, an unlicensed weapon with him. But what did he do? He wrote it and gave it off. Okay, no, pardoned. He's pardoned of all is this thing. Was it rule of law there? Yes, it was. क्यों? कैसे? Can the president of USA pardon? Do they have pardoning powers? Yes. Can they pardon any offense? Yes. It is left to the discretion of the president. किसको pardon देना है, किसको नहीं देना है, it is left to the US president. So he can do it. Getting the point here? Another example, an MLA's son was arrested on charges of having drugs with him in the state of Kerala. The excise official with just, this is the state of Kerala. If that gentleman was posted here in the district of Alappuzha, he was later transferred to the northern part when there were just less than 5 months left for his retirement. Generally, once you get a posting and only 5 or 6 months is less than a year is left for your retirement, means they will not touch you. Retirement year, generally, be it in state service, central service, they won't touch you. But because this excise official was involved in the arrest of the MLA's son, he got kicked. What is happening here? Rule of law getting tampered with. That is rule of law getting tampered with. Misusing the provisions of rule of law. Because, yes, can the government transfer an official? Absolutely, yes. They can transfer it. But what ground are you transferring? What is the reason? That should be specified, right? Nothing. Clear? Rule of law subjects every governmental action to the test of legality. हर action को test करेंगे, क्या ये सही है या गलत? Rule of law is the key index that determines the quality of good governance in a country. Professor A.V. Dicey expounded the concept of rule of law in his treatise Law of the Constitution. As per A.V. Dicey, the rule of law is based on 3 principles: absence of arbitrary power, equality before law, predominance of legal spirit or judicial review, or supremacy of the law. Absence of arbitrary power, matlab no manmani. No manmani. Whatever it is legitimate power. Legitimate power means by elect. Let us say in our country right now, NDA is ruling at the central government. Why? Because they have the majority. They have the majority. Emergency imposed by the Indira Gandhi government in 1975. That was arbitrary power. Why? Because they did not follow the process of procedure. मनमानी कर रहे थे वहां पर खुद के कैबिनेट को, या फिर द प्रेसिडेंट ऑल्सो वॉज अ रबर स्टैम्प प्रेसिडेंट, जो जैसे ही इंदिरा गांधी लेकर आ गया, आई एम गोइंग टू डिक्लेयर इमरजेंसी, ही वाज लाइक ओके, ही साइंड इट एंड गेव ऑफ. दैट इज हाउ द इमरजेंसी गॉट डिक्लेयर्ड. गेटिंग द पॉइंट हियर. इक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ, सब कानून के नजरों में बराबर है. everybody are the same. Predominance of legal spirit or judicial review or supremacy of the law. Means judiciary can literally check whether a law is arbitrary or not, whether a law is constitutionally valid or not. That is how the judiciary struck down the electoral bonds. Getting the idea here, people? Any doubts so far? Any doubts? Exactly. Basic structure of the Constitution. Absence of arbitrary power. Discretionary power means the power to act in the way the officer deems fit, which may result in the abuse of power by administrative officers. When Professor Dicey formulated the concept of rule of law, he was very well aware of the harm that might result from the use of power by state officials. Therefore, he advocated that arbitrary power shall not be conferred on any officer. Arbitrariness denotes unreasonableness and is against all norms of law and justice. The officers have to carry out the law made by Parliament and should not exercise any more power. Any unreasonable or arbitrary action is considered to be illegal. Therefore, it can be nullified by a court of law. Means what? Discretionary power. Matlab, see, even when you become an administrator, you will get trained in Labasna, you will get trained in, National Police Academy. That is all correct. But sometimes you may have to exercise your discretion. So, jab 26/11 attack was happening, all right, police officers were running, chasing these terrorists inside Taj Hotel. Some of them were present there, some of them were chasing them, tracking them and all that. So, why they were running there? They could have sat outside, right? Simply, let us wait till the commandos come. That is discretion. That is discretion basically. किसी ने कहा नहीं. There is no order. There is no law. Nothing is there. You are doing it from your side. So the point here is 26/11 में वो सही था. You barged in, you don't wait for search warrant, you're running, you're chasing, you're stopping. Fine. आम तौर पर what extent will you use your discretionary power? So they basically, again, there was this other Mumbai police inspector again who started enjoying more powers, very corrupt officer who enjoyed more powers than even the commissioner of police. That level he was getting powerful there. So he was not getting enough money, etc., whatever. He decided to go and threaten Mr. Ambani itself. Like I told you earlier, he just parked a Scorpio car there and kept some gelatin sticks there, which is an explosive again. When cops came to search it, they found these gelatin sticks, and the back of the Scorpio car, there were number plates. They started taking out the number plates, then they saw that these were different number plates. All the number plates were basically the same number plates as the cars what were being used by Mr. Ambani and his family. That means it was a threat that I have your number plates, this gelatin sticks I can put it in any one of your car and blast it. That is discretionary power being misused. So basically what Dicey is telling is discretionary power should not be there with whom? Cops or anybody from administration. कुछ भी कॉप्स कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है, साफ साफ लिख दो. Let it be clearly defined, the do's and the don'ts, so that nobody will act unreasonably. अगर एक्ट किया तो कौन आएगा मदद के लिए? कानून, that is court. Courts will come over there. Getting the point here? Though that means if the government or the government officials actually act very arbitrarily, without following any due process of law or the procedure established by law, they do their manmani, it can be nullified by the court. Court can interfere there. Clear? Equality before law. As the word says, equality means what? Everybody are equal here. According to A.V. Dicey, equality before law denotes application of the same system of law and procedure to all such disputes, irrespective of whether government is a party or not. Different laws and different procedure to deal with disputes wherein government is a party violates rule of law. Therefore, the legality of the acts of the government should be decided by the same courts that are independent of the executive. मतलब क्या है? सब लोग बराबर है. You cannot have different laws and procedures for different people. It should be same law, same procedure for everybody. Getting the point here. But unfortunately, even when we say all these principles are there, we know it for a fact that I think Salman Khan in the hit and run case, 2 बजे के आसपास Sessions Court ruled that he is guilty. Okay. 5 बजे तक ही कोर्ट है. He was guilty and he was supposed to go to the jail. 5 बजे के अंदर ही हाई कोर्ट से he got bail. Generally, this is not possible. Why I will tell you. See, court saying, okay, Salman Khan को इतने साल के सजा इस कोर्ट फैसला दे रहा है हूं. हाँ, all right. Judge has to sign it. That copy, judgment copy, has to come to the lawyer. Then the lawyer has to file for a bail in High Court. It should go to the judge along with the judgment copy. Then the lawyer has to read, the judge in the High Court has to read all of that and then give the bail. इतना सब कुछ 3 घंटे के अंदर ही खत्म. Generally, it is impossible. Same thing that happened with Mr. Allu Arjun also, the same thing. That is, as soon as he was arrested, he was put to jail, blah, 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 etc. By evening, bail is ready. Or anticipatory bail is ready. Not anticipatory, sorry. Bail is ready from High Court. What does it mean? If you really have money, if you know the right people, any procedure can be watered down. Or you will get the immediate access immediately. It is like the VIP darshan that is available in the temples of our country. You are a VVIP, public will be blocked and you will be getting what? A straight VVIP darshan to see the idol there. Same thing. But at least as a principle, it is nice to hear. Equality before law, everybody will be treated equally. No special consideration, no special preferences. And to ensure this, what do? We need to have a judiciary separated from the executive. Executive should not be involved in judicial matters. The third point. The legality of the acts of the government should be decided by the same courts that are independent of the executive. Executive में executive का कोई भी involvement नहीं होना चाहिए judiciary के अंदर. Clear? Supremacy of the law. The third one. Any doubts so far? Arbitrary, absence of arbitrary power, equality before law. Any doubts with these two things? All right. The general principles of British constitutional law, which is unwritten, are developed by the decisions of courts, especially individual rights. As these rights are recognized by the courts and subsequently got constitutional status, Dicey viewed them as supreme and having higher protection from violation. He described it as predominance of the legal spirit. The first two principles of rule of law become meaningless when they cannot be secured by courts. Therefore, the essence of the third principle is that the citizens should be able to enforce the rights that are recognized, and the courts must be sufficiently empowered for that purpose. Now, this third point, this is where there is an exception. So, I have told, I don't know whether I mentioned this earlier. So, there is British Constitution, all right? And then you have Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution, if you ask me, I can take a book. There are various versions, and the small book is there. I can put it in my pocket. If a British citizen asks me, can I see your Indian Constitution? I can take this out, give it to him. You can give it. This is my Constitution. I can give it to him. That means this is clearly defined. Properly defined. It is written down completely what it is. What about the British Constitution? If I ask him, show me your Constitution, he will take me to London. And then he will take me to a room. In that room, basically, in glass cases, from one end to the other end, in that very, very big room, he will say, this is our Constitution. That means it is starting from somewhere and it is going on and on and on. Why? British Constitution, if you see, it keeps getting redefined based on every decision by the court. यानी कि कोर्ट के हर एक फैसले के साथ क्या हो रहा है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज गेटिंग एडेड अप और अपडेटेड. In our country it is there, but you call it what? Constitutional Amendment Act, you call it specifically. But largely the structure remains the same. है ना? You have central executive, union executive, state executive, high court, supreme court. That structure remains the same. Clearly defined. Articles are given. So 280, Article 280 means Finance Commission. There is no change to that. यहां पर ऐसा नहीं है. It keeps changing. That means here the spirit of law is supreme. That means judiciary is supreme here. Judicial interpretations are supreme here. Whereas in India, what is supreme? The Constitution itself is supreme. Why Constitution itself is supreme? Because Constitution also derives its power from the people. We, the people of India, give to ourselves. That is the opening statement itself. This is the only area where the Dicey's rule of law differs from the Indian administrative law or Indian law. First two, it is the same. There is absence of arbitrary power. Everybody are equal. The third point, that is judiciary, decision by courts, supremacy of judiciary. Judiciary is not supreme in India. What is really supreme is Constitution. Even the judiciary also has to act and abide only according to what the Constitution says. Even judiciary is bound by it. Clear with this? All right. Dicey opined that mere recognition of these rights by written constitution would not automatically promote rule of law, as many written constitutions in the world also enumerate exceptions wherein these rights cannot be enforced. Further, the constitutions may also make it permissible for Parliament to amend these rights. Article 358 and Article 359 of Indian Constitution permit the President of India to suspend certain fundamental rights during national emergency. Article 368 empowers Parliament to amend the Constitution. Further, to promote the supremacy of law, a system of strong, independent, and impartial court is necessary. That is his logic. His logic is that सिर्फ कानून लिखने से कुछ नहीं होगा, जुडिशरी को भी आप ताकत दे दो. We are giving it. It is not that we are giving it. Our judiciary has enough powers. That is, we are talking about protection of fundamental rights, right to constitutional remedy, Article 32 for Supreme Court, Article 226 for High Court. Then wherever Supreme Court feels there has been a gross miscarriage of justice by either the legislature or by the executive, Supreme Court will interfere in any matter where they feel there is a dire need for it under Article 142, which according to the Supreme Court itself gives sky high powers. Getting the point here? Sky high powers they are having. That means we are having a system here where we do have single, integrated, as well as independent judiciary. This is the only exception. Otherwise, the first two principles we are also agreeing with Dicey. The third one, no. It is not the judiciary of the country that is supreme. It is the constitution. Legislature ho, executive ho, judiciary ho, all the three have to stay within the limits as prescribed by the Indian Constitution. Clear? Now let us see administrative law. Administrative law is a branch of law that helps to control governmental exercise of power. Administrative law deals with the powers and functions of government officials and control mechanisms over their use of power. The focus of rule of law and administrative law is one and the same. Both aim at control of power and prevent arbitrary use of power by officials. When Dicey formulated his rule of law, he thought that administrative law was against rule of law. अब ये क्या है? Administrative law. From the word itself, administrative law means what? Law which governs and guides the administration. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अंदर आप क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या नहीं, इसके लिए भी कानून होना चाहिए. जैसे कि सिविल सर्विस कॉन्डक्ट रूल्स, ऑल इंडिया सर्विस कॉन्डक्ट रूल्स. Getting the point here? Now I have told you the examples of many IAS officers, even the IAS officer from Kerala, Mr. Prashant. Now he went on to the extent of criticizing his senior boss. He went that too through a social media post. Even when the media approached him to give him a bite, again what he did was that, just because I'm a civil servant, I'm entitled to my fundamental rights. It was very unbelievable that he actually spoke like that. These points, whatever I'm giving you, mind you, we'll be discussing it in detail when we take up our paper 2. Getting the point? So again, he went on to say, I have fundamental rights as a citizen. Just because I am an IAS officer, I need not bend down, bow down and all. You have a problem, you send it officially. You are not going to come out and be very vocal about it, let alone go to the media and talk about it. Getting the point here? Because tell me, in a private field you are working. All right, let us say you are working in Tata. If you put a post against your own manager there in the social media, it will put the company in bad light. It will give bad reputation to that company. They'll definitely fire you first before they fire the manager. Getting the point? There are certain ways. That is why you have an HR department. That is why you have a chief minister, chief secretary, multiple organizations. There's a proper hierarchy and protocol to these things. You cannot do whatever you feel like. Just because you are quite famous, you are an IAS officer, you have quite a good fan following in social media, etc. You cannot just go about ranting whatever you feel is wrong. Let it be wrong also. You cannot go to the media like that and be so blunt with your opinion. Because you are still working for the government of Kerala. You are going to put the government in a bad light. Getting the picture here? So there are certain do's and don'ts. And ultimately, administrative law's purpose is what? Control of power and prevent arbitrary use of power. That is the main idea. That is, how should an administrator behave? How should a government official behave? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? लेकिन डाइसी ने क्या सोचा था पहले? डाइसी actually felt that both are opposite to each other. That is, rule of law is different, administrative law is different. Let us see. Administrative law deals with giving of powers, that too discretionary power. Wherever there is discretion, there is scope for arbitrariness. Rule of law is against arbitrariness. Dicey's inference was administrative law is opposed to rule of law. This inference has been proved to be wrong because administrative law deals not only with conferring of powers on the officers but also focuses on controlling the powers of the government. His thought was very clear. क्योंकि whenever we say civil service conduct rules या फिर all India service conduct rules, it also talks about what you can do. Certain discretion will be allowed in certain situations. Say for example, like I told you, Armstrong Palmer constructed 100-kilometer road without any support from the government. That is discretion. Collector taking the initiative from his end to see to it that that road comes, even if government support is there or not. That is discretion, right? Discretion and basically Dicey's rule of law is against discretion. Dicey's rule of law does not allow discretion to be given. That is why he said that both are opposite. Administrative law is different, rule of law, ये दोनों टक्कर करेगा एक दूसरे से. Not true. Why? First of all, when discretion is provided also, it is clearly mentioned under what circumstance. कब कहां आप ये इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं? It is given easily. 26/11 attack जब हो रहा था, no government would have asked any cop that night, okay, did you have firing orders? Nobody will ask. Why? Automatic rifle से गोलियां आ रहा है. थोड़े वहां पर बैठकर चिट्ठी लिखकर, dear senior sir, please issue firing orders because terrorists are firing at us with automatic weapons. Please give us firing orders. And then you will wait for an order. No, you will pull out your gun and you will start shooting back. Getting the point here? So discretion is there. In certain situations, just as much as discretion is being given, control भी रखा गया है. कब, कहां, कैसे. And it is not just for the official, for the government also. Under what circumstances can you do certain things? Clearly given. It is administrative law that makes it possible for the courts to strike down any arbitrary exercise of power by the government. Moreover, as Dicey thought, absence of arbitrary power need not necessarily mean absence of discretionary power, for the reason that a welfare state can function effectively only if such powers are given to the executive officers. In reality, administrative law does not infringe upon rule of law. On the contrary, administrative law, being a system of control of administrative power, promotes and strengthens rule of law. मतलब administrative law के कारण ही courts gets to know कि whether the officer followed the procedure or officer ended up acting overly. Whether the officer went beyond the powers assigned to him and behaved in an arbitrary manner or not. How do the courts get to know? By looking at administrative law, looking at the powers, looking at the jurisdiction. Based on that, only courts also decide. Plus, absence of arbitrary power. Arbitrary is manmani. Discretion means situation ke upar you take a call. Like how ASI Tukaram Omble, how he ran towards the car. That was discretionary power. Seniors कोई किसी ने नहीं कहा था ना कोई ऑर्डर भी था. He took it upon himself. He utilized his discretion as a police officer to run over there, stop and block the bullets that Ajmal Kasab was firing with his body. Getting the point here? This is what we call as discretion, not arbitrary. Arbitrary is manmani. Getting the point here? Administrative law does not infringe upon rule of law. Administrative law is a system of control of administrative power, promotes and strengthens rule of law. Because you have a clear set of rules, what can be done, what cannot be done, everything is clear here. Even the administrative powers that you will be getting once you become a collector, an IPS officer, IRS officer, whatever be it, everything will be written saaf. Clear? The concept of rule of law is often invoked to challenge unreasonable governmental action. The whole idea is that administration cannot exercise arbitrary powers and it should function in accordance with the law. It is the fundamental norm of rule of law that every governmental action shall be fair. To ensure fairness in governmental action, courts have developed the principles of natural justice. There are two main principles of natural justice. This is important for our next paper also. Two main principles of natural justice. Number one, rule against bias. Rule against bias means that no one shall be a judge in her or his own cause. This aims at settlement of disputes by an impartial judge. It also means that any governmental authority exercising a decision-making function should be impartial and should not have any interest in the subject matter of the dispute. Also, she or he should not be partial towards any party to the dispute. That means rule against bias means two people come in front of me with some issue. I should independently judge it. I should not favor one party. I should not favor the other party. First thing is that. Be it government, be it the court. Second is what? If somebody comes there, let us say my relative comes and I am sitting as a judge here, there is a very good chance that I will favor my relative. So what is the best thing? I should excuse myself or recuse myself from the case. That means principle of natural justice, first founding principle or foundational principle is what? There should be no bias. It should be a completely neutral and impartial judge who is listening to the case. That judge, when we say, don't think it from a legal point of view alone. जज कोई फैसला सुनाना है आपको, चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट हो, कोर्ट हो या फिर एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर हो, you will do things impartially. That is the point here. First principle, no bias. Then audi alteram partem or rule of fair hearing. Audi alteram partem means hear the other party. That is, the judge shall not decide a matter unless both the parties are given an opportunity to present their case. So here I will give you an example for my family only. My mother was actually an AEU in the last years of her career, Assistant Educational Officer. So AEO means basically your lower primary, upper primary schools, etc. comes under AEO. All right. So she had around, I think 31 or 51 schools under her. So basically it was her job to visit these schools, check whether they are working fine, whether the teacher-student ratio is maintained, all that, this was her job. So in one particular LP school, there was this one fellow who was into politics. He's basically a teacher, but he was into politics. Because he was into politics, what used to happen was that he will never come on time to school. He will never finish the portion. He was always absent. And there were other many things. That is, he'll be in everything. That is the midday meal scheme, that scheme, this scheme, every scheme, wherever money is involved, this guy will be there in it. And he will again indulge in a lot of corruption. Okay. So my mom had basically got to know this. So what she started to do was she started gathering evidence, because obviously these things will leave a trail. Any corruption you do, it will leave a trail. Any cross-checking done by anybody will be able to find it out also. So she started gathering the evidence, etc. This fellow got to know about it also, that yes, my mom is doing it. Finally, what he did was, so my mom started sending memos from the office, one after the other, to this individual. So finally, the matter escalated and it went to her superior level. I think DEO or something. Yeah, DEO. What the DEO did was, again, another female, she called a meeting where my mother was there and this teacher was there. This male faculty was there. The DEO came. This fellow stood up. He started reading out a paper that the AEO has been targeting me, that this, that, etc. All these are unfounded allegations, blah, 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 blah. All this he read out. Then he finally said a copy of this has been submitted to the DEO. He sat down. What the DEO did next is the most interesting thing. She just gave that copy of the paper, whatever this teacher told, gave it to my mother and told, now sign the document. My mother for a minute was like, but why should I sign it? You didn't give me an opportunity to speak. So the DA was like, whatever I had to hear, I heard. Now sign the document. My mother immediately told, before signing this document, I have to consult my lawyer. I will not sign this document just like that. DEO did not like it, obviously. But what was the thing there? This DEO was scared of the teacher's so-called political connections. Did he have that many political connections? No. But she was just scared of him. What if he gets me transferred? My mother was like, if he gets me transferred, big deal. Getting the point here? That is, audi alteram partem, or rule of fair hearing, simply means what? You should listen to both the parties before giving a judgment. Everybody should be given a fair opportunity to put their side of the case. That is the second principle of natural justice. First is what? Rule against bias. There shall be no bias. Impartial judge, basically. Second thing, if you are totally impartial only, you will be ready to hear both the side of the case and then give a judgment. Thus, the principles of natural justice aim at promoting fair governance, which is the main concern of rule of law and of administrative law. Means impartial, fair hearing. These two should be the predominant concerns of administrative law, rule of law. All right, people. Any doubts so far? All right, people. Now, yeah, one thing to tell you all will be, so paper 1, meaning, scope and significance of public administration. That whole thing, that whole topic itself, if you see, it's an evolving thing. What do you mean by public administration? What is the scope? What is the importance? Everything from classical theory to till WhatsApp governance will come over there. It is not a one-word defined thing. Public administration, unlike political science and international relation, unlike sociology, unlike anthropology or any other subject, when we talk about, you cannot put a boundary for it because it involves legislature, it involves executive, it involves judiciary, it involves society, it involves private players, it involves NGO, it involves civil society, it involves economics, it involves budget, it involves international relations. Everything comes over there. Getting the point here. After that, Wilson we have taken, evolution of the discipline we have seen, NPA, public choice approach. 1 minute. Challenges of LPG. Little bit we have seen of that. More of it we'll be seeing in paper 2. New public management. There also we have seen these elements of challenges. Administrative thought, scientific management movement, classical theory, Weber's model, dynamic, Mary Parker Foley, Elton Mayo and others, Chester Bernard, Rensis Likert, Argyris McGregor, taken. Process and techniques of decision making, taken. Motivation theories, taken. Now, what is remaining here is communication, theories of leadership, traditional and modern. Traditional leadership, we have taken it under classical and other things, we have taken it there. Here and there we have taken. Charismatic authority, there we have taken. Specifically, I am yet to take, we'll do it towards the end. Organization, systems, contingency, then structure and forms, ministries and departments, corporations, companies, boards, commissions, headquarters, field, regulatory authority, PPP. Paper 2, we will be taking it. Accountability and control. Concept of accountability and control. Legislative, judicial, citizen and administration, media interest group, voluntary organization, civil society, citizens charter, right to information, social audit. The other parts we will be taking it again while doing paper 2. Administrative law done today. CPA taken. Development dynamics. Anti-development thesis. Bureaucracy and development. State versus market debate. Impact of liberalization on administration in developing countries. Women and development. The self-help movement. That development dynamic chapter, if you actually see, it is nothing but the scattered topics which we have already seen under bureaucracy's problems, anti-development thesis also we saw earlier. It is scattered here and there. That is, these are all actually continuation of other topics. Women and self-help group movement, I will give it as a separate PDF because there is nothing much to give there other than straight away current affair material. Theory-wise, nothing is there. Personal administration, importance of HRD, recruitment training, career advancement, position classification, discipline, performance appraisal, promotion, pay and service conditions, employer-employee relations, grievance redressal mechanism, code of conduct, administrative ethics. Again, paper 2 linked topic it is. We'll take it that time. Public policy has been taken. Techniques of administrative improvement. That again we will do when we are doing paper 2. Financial administration, we will do it again when we take paper 2. All right, these topics will come over there. That time it will be easier to understand. Paper 1 is getting over with that. Now look at paper 2. Evolution of Indian administration. That is just theory. Philosophical and constitutional framework. That is also theory. Third chapter onwards, current affair becomes very important. Very, very important. PSU, Union Government and Administration. Very two important chapters. Next one, plan and priority. 90% of that entire chapter has become obsolete. Why? Because there is no planning commission anymore. There is no new development council anymore. National Development Council anymore. Getting the point. It is all Niti Ayog. So Niti Ayog related current affair, Niti Ayog's problems, Niti Ayog related bodies, that is what we'll be focusing there largely. Then state government and administration, district administration since independence, changing role of collector, the entire thing. Collector's viewpoint, that means your job in the future. Civil services, observe. Chapter 8 of paper 2, constitutional position, structure, recruitment, training and capacity building, good governance initiative, code of conduct and discipline, staff association, political right, grievance redressal mechanism, civil service neutrality, civil service activism. This civil service itself, chapter 8 here, is what is very closely linked with personal administration, chapter 9 of paper 1. Getting the point? There is not much difference there. Then coming down, Financial management. Budget as a political instrument, parliamentary control of public expenditure, role of finance ministry in monitoring fiscal area, accounting techniques, audit, comptroller and auditor general, controller general. That same financial management, if you see, budget they have talked about. You look at financial administration of chapter 12, monetary fiscal policy, public borrowing, public debt, budget type and form, budgetary process, financial accountability, account and audit. Same chapters these are. Getting the point here. That is what generally happens. People will look at 12 plus 14, 26 chapters and they will faint and fall. Whereas the reality is you actually start compressing and clubbing the similar topics. It is just 16 or 17 chapters that are there in public administration. In reality. Clear? Coming down, it doesn't end there also. Administrative reforms since independence. Look at that topic also. Major concerns, important committees, commissions, reforms in financial management and human resource development, problems of implementation. General it is. Major commissions means we can talk about all the commissions here. Sarkaria Commission, Punchi Commission, Second ARC, all their recommendations. But we are studying that separately under those topics. Getting the point? We are studying all this under the separate respective topics. So with governor, when we are taking governor, we'll be doing the commissions there also. Clear? Then, rural development, urban local government. Again, very static and current related topics, which again, a few overlap is there. If you see, if you go back to district administration since independence, that is chapter number 7 of paper 2, union state local relations, district administration and democratic decentralization. There also you have these topics coming in. Rural administration, urban administration. Basically, then from these three topics, it is the same. When IAS officer is there in the rural panchayat or in the municipality, what are the issues? That is the question that will come. Don't worry. Only that question will come. Because it's a very relevant and an ongoing topic. Then, law and order administration, straight away, policing. Significant issues in Indian administration, values in public service, regulatory commission, NHRC, problems of administration in coalition regime, citizen administration, interface, corruption and administration, disaster management. Few of them very static topics. I'll be just giving it as handouts. Correct? The other ones, like I told you, they overlap with many other topics which we are discussing. So if you actually see paper 2 also, content-wise, it's very limited. Topic-wise, it's very, very limited. Content, I wouldn't say so. Topic-wise, it is limited. That is easily, instead of 14, it will just come down to 7 or 8 chapters. Proper. Because when you talk about state government, when you talk about local, see, you discussed about union government, Supreme Court, state government, High Court, local government, collector, police. What is left then? Think about it now. What is left then? Everything gets covered there. Problems. And again, what is the last chapter's name first of all? Significant issues in Indian administration. Everything will fall there, right? From union government all the way down, everything will come over there. Getting the idea? So this is the nutshell. So apart from the first 2 chapters, which are very static, purely theory, rest of it is nothing but current affair related. Clear, people? So this is what we will be dealing with. And from tomorrow, we are going to start our paper 2. All right. So let us call it a day today. Okay. Take care, people. Any queries, etc. Please, you can reach out to me in the Telegram channel. All right.